In that first year, let's say year one, many of us talk about, because I'm going to ask you about, of course, your marketing and branding prowess that, you and I spent so long in the States just exchanging stories, and I'm sitting there going, oh, I love this woman, it's magnificent. But when in that first year, was it prospecting or was it branding that brought you to the forefront in year one?
Branding, definitely branding. But the way I did it was probably, I did prospect. I definitely contacted the telemarketing company who also cold call for me, but I realised that the cold calling conversations were not very good because obviously I tested them out and asked them, who they called, and I called those people and asked them what they thought. Sometimes the conversations being held is not so good, so you do need to check, who you're paying, and if you are paying them to do your marketing, you do need to make sure that it's value for money for sure. I definitely did a lot of flyers, a lot of letters, and I looked back at some of my letters and I thought, oh, did I really write that? That was terrible. So obviously I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was trying everything, and of course every month you improve and you think, oh, YouTube, let's just see who's actually doing this and that. So obviously I've attended a few conferences, I listened to different agents because you realise, oh, there's a big hitter, in Sydney. That's another really big hitter in Melbourne. So you start to listen to what they do. And from there, I realised that it's not about prospecting. And of course, you have to prospect, you have to call, you have to follow up everybody and let the world know that you are a real estate agent. You want people to support you. But unfortunately, a lot of people do not trust a rookie if, let's say, it's your first time out there on the lounge or in the lounge or talking to people. So you have to use the branding of maybe the agency or all the sales the agency has done so that you actually look very strong as a team. And that's when the team, play is very important. You definitely need to have a very, very good cooperation between your team members, meaning your colleagues who's prepared to help you. And apart from that, the branding, when I talk about branding, it's really about positioning yourself in your marketplace where you are different. So obviously everybody here will have a wow factor or an X factor. So you really want to make sure when you walk into someone's home, what do you think they will say yes to in order to list with you? You need to think, and every transaction will be different, every listing will be different, every owner's different, so you really need to connect literally within about two minutes, maybe even 1 or 2 minutes. They either like you or they don't like you, and they would have already done so much research about you well before you are invited. And it was interesting, about 3 days ago, I went to see this owner. I saw him 4 years ago, and he said to me, obviously I wanted to know, am I up against anybody else? And he said, I've made up my mind 4 years ago. So can you imagine if I wasn't nice to him, because I would not get his business 4 years ago, but I still, said hello to him and constantly just keeping in touch, and I know that I won't be up against anybody else, and I love that. But definitely every time you go back into another listing appointment, you're starting from ground zero again. So every time I go back in, you think, what do I have to do to get that listing? But if you do all the work behind the scenes of prospecting, calling, have trails, and I'm the worst in putting trails together because I never had a database, and we've just started properly doing client trails, and I've got my team helping me and they go, how did you do it? But obviously it's all about that instantaneous rapport that you create. They've got to like you.